Mabuhay, this is Bob from Love Beyond the Sea. The topic today is perfectionism and pickiness preventing you from pursuing a partner? Hopefully I didn't spit on the screen too much there, but this is a video about some things that can help prevent a guy from getting married, and it goes both ways too. I'm going to have a couple parts of this so I can get it all in, or part of it. This is from Mark Travers, somebody I quote from a lot here, and this is Forbes.com. He calls it 4 reasons behind phantom +1 relationships. Now, I have, of course, called it something else just for my own purposes. And he starts out by saying, by the way, please subscribe here, Love Beyond the Sea. I make relationship videos for men looking for women from the Philippines or anywhere else, really. And please leave a comment today from his article. You're single. You enjoy your independence. Yet somewhere in the background, there's an open space in your heart reserved for someone. Let me know if you can relate to this. Their identity and time of arrival remain unknown, but their presence feels certain. In the meantime, commitment stays at arm's length, always leaving room for the right person. This subconscious tendency, holding space for a future partner while resisting real relationships, sheds light on why some people, despite craving love, never fully step into it. He says it's like being in a relationship with a phantom +1 who takes up space but doesn't yet exist. And so I certainly agree with that, and I'll just add real quick, as I've said before in my videos, I don't really believe in the right person. I don't really believe in a what do they call it, what do they call that thing? I'm trying to ad-lib here. Anyway, you're a perfect spouse, you're a soulmate, that's it. I don't really believe that you should be looking that strictly for someone that matches whatever you think is the perfect match. When I got married quickly in 18 days back in 2019 from across the world, I didn't have a big list of things I was looking for. And so I was finally able to get married, but I had to look in another country. I wanted a Christian, and I wanted somebody I was attracted to, somebody with integrity, and that was about it. Somebody willing to marry me. So the first of 2 points here he has is the illusion of readiness. I'm open, just not right now. Have you ever said that or know somebody that does? Many people, he says, believe they're available for love when, in reality, they're in a constant state of preparation. They tell themselves, I just need to work on myself a little more. I'll start dating seriously after I reach this milestone. Or I'm open to love, but only if it effortlessly fits into my life. At face value, these statements sound reasonable. Personal growth and self-improvement are valuable, but the problem arises when these justifications become a permanent state rather than a temporary phase. Now, I'll just interject here. As far as readiness, you can agree or disagree with this, but I think you got to do as much as you can to prepare yourself for what it means to be a husband and your role in that marriage. But essentially, I don't know that you can be ready for being married until you're married. Then you're ready to begin to learn about being ready for marriage, because it's such a marathon and not a sprint. And so many people, they just don't get very far in the race, and they get out of the race. And you just have to be, I guess the best readiness would be realistic. It's going to be hard. It's going to be challenging. You're not always going to get what you want. And you'll learn how to endure through all of these things after you're married. Just, you don't want to be really immature going into it. You can be young, but you just have to be prepared enough to know you've got to go the distance, and you'll need people to help, hold you up when you're feeling weak about that. So, continue with the article. They mentioned a 2019 study on commitment readiness that shows that being in a relationship isn't just about wanting commitment. It's about being truly ready to engage in it. Readiness, he says, determines, or the article says, determines whether someone will participate in the behaviors that sustain love, like self-disclosure, accommodation, and sacrifice. Without it, even those who claim to want the relationship may struggle to maintain one, and they say this is where the illusion of readiness becomes a trap. Holding a mental reservation for a future partner creates the comforting feeling of being open to love without the vulnerability of actually putting yourself out there. I think a lot of people can relate to that. But the truth is, they say readiness isn't just, or doesn't just arrive after achieving some distant milestone. It develops through active participation. If you're always waiting for a future version of yourself to be ready, you might wake up one day realizing you never actually arrived. The second one here of 4 that we'll talk about, but just 2 in this video from Mark Travers, the article, is avoidance disguised as selectiveness. Avoidance disguised as selectiveness can keep you single. I'm going to call this pickiness. He says the phantom plus 1 effect often masquerades as high standards, but what looks like pickiness is often fear-driven avoidance. So now we're going deeper. Someone might say they're waiting for the perfect fit, but in reality, they could be unconsciously shielding themselves from the risks that real relationships bring, like rejection, loss of independence, or past heartbreak resurfacing. Now, I'll just interject while I have time that rejection is a part of relationships and marriage. Even in marriage, there will be sometimes, in some ways, you will be rejected or feel rejection. Independence, you'll lose your independence to a high degree, but that's a good thing. I don't have time to make a video myself on that. I probably have before, but getting married means helping others, and you really can't do that when you're focusing on yourself. So, and then past heartbreak resurfacing, well, you just got to learn from that. And there's always a risk, like anything else, that could happen. And we'll have to skip ahead here. And they're talking about some study that show that fear and anxiety decrease risk-taking and increase risk perception. And then some reasons why. This would explain why some people might go on dates but always find a flaw in the other person. They can get a date, but they always find a flaw, something wrong in the other person, or feel excited about someone until things get serious. Another one, fantasize about love, but hesitate when faced with real commitment. And this is me speaking here. Real commitment is no fantasy. It's going to be hard work. It helps to have people in your life, at least one person you trust, to help you be accountable to keep those marriage vows. Be realistic. You got 2 sinners married and living together. It's going to be tough. But if 2 Christians are married, they're still going to have their difficulties, but at least they have the help of the Holy Spirit to help them, not be selfish and put their spouse first. And so continuing here, for many from the article, avoidance isn't about high standards, it's about risk aversion. Fear heightens their perception of potential downsides, making relationships seem overwhelming. By keeping a slot open for an imaginary future partner, they get the illusion of control, a way to stay hopeful about love without engaging in its perceived messiness. And I'll say here, the messiness again is okay. It's just normal. Continuing here from the article, if you catch yourself fixating on minor flaws in every potential partner, ask yourself, am I genuinely uninterested, or am I protecting myself from vulnerability? True connection requires risk, and perfection is a mirage that keeps love out of reach. Let me know what you think. I'll continue here with his article from a couple other points here on Love Beyond the Sea.